Invincible, man.
Yes.
It's let's start with that mini villain scientist, brother. You
Yeah.
know, when I first saw him, like I didn't actually put two and two together when he pops up in the classroom talking about, so they're visiting the uni and he's there and he's talking about mankind and their development and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Although he was saying it in an evil manner, I didn't even fully disagree with what he was saying.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the great thing about this show is that all the villains so far have always had very logical chains of thought. Like they've all been like the kind of Thanos mindsets of just being reasonable and having actual logic to their philosophy.
I thought he might say something more reasonable, so I thought. And by the way, at this stage, I still haven't linked this scene to the scene of the drunk guy getting captured and chopped off.
Yeah.
I didn't even. Maybe I was slow, but I didn't actually make that connection.
Yeah, I clocked it. I did clock it.
I didn't. At this stage, I'll be honest, I hadn't clocked it. But I like his thing about you need to get somewhere quickly. What do? You get in a car. You need to get to another country. When you flap your arms there, you get on the plane. I was like, he's making sense. But my mind went to, okay, so maybe he's implying that we need to focus on making us, because the teacher had just said, oh, your organs fail, blah, blah, blah. We've got to try and improve quality. And maybe it was like, no, we could build a robot heart or a robot lungs or something like that. And that would make sense to me, especially for those organs. You just need something to pump blood around you. So in theory, if you could replace them with metal ones that last forever, maybe you won't die of old age. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I didn't really. Again, my mind just didn't put the two together for a while. And then I saw the missing poster. Actually, this is why. This is why. The thing about Invincible, and this might be one of the few flaws it probably has for me, right? Some of those scenes happen somewhat quickly and are so throwawayable that after they're gone, I forget about them. That I was so it's like, even though you opened up with such a horror scene, whatever, it's like, oh shit. But it's a bit like the mummy situation in a couple episodes ago. Like again, you forget about it. Jeremy, what's even happening with that anymore? I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will come back eventually. But or like what else? The fact that there's a doppelganger human
Martian
and whatever. It does a lot of them, so it's hard to remember every single thing. So my mind just only seems to retain the main plot lines. Everything else just kind of gets.
Okay.
Even when I saw the missing poster, again, it wasn't until like halfway through the episode that I remember, oh snap, that was the missing poster of the drunk guy from the first. I think it was once I finally clocked who the guy was and I put it all together, it came up. But it wasn't there for me straight away, and I doubt I'm the only one. But anyway, I've been talking for ages. What do you think?
Well, in terms of like the first, when he was talking about that, like the fact that you have to improve like the machines, the tools that mankind have, rather than trying to improve quality of life or something like that. I agreed as well. And of course he could have gone about it a different way, but straight away then I kind of thought, well, he seems to be someone who is, he's a scientist. The way he even looked at the guy, I can't remember his name now, but Mark's friend's kind of boyfriend. Like I feel like the way he looked at him, I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely planning something. He's definitely planning, spoiler alert, to like take him out and reverse engineer and re-engineer his body so he becomes better. I'm a sucker for it. I like the relationship between Mark and
it's growing on me. It's growing on me. Like that. I like that old stuff at the beginning. I thought was quite nice and like dominance. That's my cat. Yeah, that whole scene felt nice and somewhat organic. I sort of, can we start over? And then a cute little fake call, and so I thought, it was nice. It was growing me a little bit. Yeah. But I feel like this stuff should have happened earlier because the whole relationship, and actually this is a good segue. So their whole relationship is effectively built on she thought he was brave. And actually this kind of made me like her character a bit more. I don't think it's a interesting premise to go, oh no, I've had many guys fight for me, but I've never had one take a beating for me. Okay, fair enough. So, because at first I thought, when the monster from that scientist guy we were just talking about attacks them, and obviously he's in that dilemma, like he wants to jump in, but then he'll know his identity, he needs to go get changed, blah, blah, blah. Obviously he eventually does it, comes back, beats the villain, flies away. From her perspective, she thinks he just abandoned. She thinks he abandoned him.
Yeah.
Abandoned her. Sorry. Now, although that's bad, at first I was like, he could have just been scared. Like you're gonna crucify him for it. I mean, it'd be an interesting one to ask our respective spouses. Like if I was, if some monster came, if I was shook and I just nuts, are you gonna be mad at me? The answer is probably yes. But
but the thing is, for me, Amy, she'd be quicker than anyone. She'd be out before us, so there wouldn't even be time to like, argue against me. Amy would be gone quickly. So
that's funny. That's what I mean. But I just thought she could have at least even have tried to understand.
Yeah.
Scared. Even if she was still upset and ultimately wanted to leave, it just seemed to be like, no, understand. How could you run? It's like, okay, from your perspective, that's a normal guy. What did you expect him to do again?
Yeah, but it is I can see on her side that it is accumulation, isn't it? It's like if you've been doing not being there for her, not turning up to all these different things, even though you got hit by a bus or like you've had other excuses, like the accumulation of it in her mind is like, okay, he's not there for me, but I'm going to give him one more chance. Okay, he's still not here for me again, but I'm going to give him one more chance. And then this comes along and it's like, gosh, man, this is the pattern. For her, he's thinking,
and I guess on the flip
pattern.
side, you saw that gay guy save his gay friend.
Yeah.
By throwing cans, So I guess,
Yeah, he has good aim as well, man. Like hit him right in the head.
But like I said, I forgave her more when I thought about, well, in fairness, you were quite upfront with him, where the whole reason you fell for him in the first place is because he took a beating for you.
Yeah.
When I thought about it like that, I thought, okay, I guess this is the opposite now. Now the opportunities come again, and this time instead of taking the beating, he ducked out.
Yeah.
See why you might be annoyed on that. Fair enough.
Yeah. But one thing I do feel is that I know he's still injured from the last encounter with like when he was taking a robot head, but like he took a beating, man. Like he's showing like that he's not.
You're talking about in the final confrontation. So when he's gone to rescue his friend.
No, even before that.
Even the first fight.
Yeah. He took a beating.
I still think it's largely. Go on. No, go on.
The only reason why he lost it is because the robot ended up killing itself. Like otherwise, like he was kind of struggling. He was struggling.
The fact that he would have overcome that one eventually, but as we'll get to when we get later on, when there was multiple of them, there was certainly
there was no shot.
But I think again, it might just be his inexperience. More on how, and funnily enough, we were just talking about Captain America. I think just having super strength without training on properly how to fight and use it doesn't make you unbeatable. I think that's what's showing.
Yeah.
But if you have that training and then you get super strength, you actually are a monster. Like, imagine if like, I don't know, freaking Jet Li suddenly had super speed and strength. Like he'd probably take out entire armies.
Yeah.
Like
and
Chan
then and only then can you call yourself. That only then.
I will create mine. Actually, I'm going to create mine. The next time we record, we're going to endeavor to not say the word once.
Yeah.
You can only show the car. That is, I might even make that the thumbnail of this. You hold it up there. But yeah, let's step away from the university bit for a second. I want to talk a little bit about the whole. Let's talk about the whole arc with the Omni-Man and his wife. I'm invested in this relationship drama.
You see him just sitting there, just like
yeah.
And that right there is Should I kill my wife?
Yeah, that's what that is. I didn't look at it like that. I didn't look at it like that. No, I think he's actually in pain. Even when it's like, there is definitely a conflict within him. There is definitely a conflict within him. Like, ever since Mark's got his power, something's changed. But there's a conflict because there was still 17 years that he had living this life. Maybe even more, because you don't know how long he was on Earth necessarily before he met his wife. So and how long they were together before they had Mark. So let's say there's around 20 years. You know, he's lived a certain way. And for whatever reason, he's decided to change it. But that whole, like I think the acting of the woman who's playing the wife was good for me because it felt genuine. It's funny because up until now, I was even starting to get a bit annoyed with how long she was going with it and just seemed a bit obvious. And I don't know, it wasn't really connecting with me. But this episode, it just came across really human.
Yeah.
She also came across as interestingly intelligent. Another thing I want to talk to our spouses about how when women want to, they'll come up with some of the best lies, bro.
Yeah.
See when she was when the tailor was analyzing the costume, and straight away, boom! This only proves that they were in conflict. Does not prove that perhaps he was trying to look after the legacy of the Guardians of the Globe. But I was looking at the screen like, bro, that was fast. You didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
to just explain, to give a perfectly justifiable explanation.
Yeah, she's smart, man. And this is what I was saying even the episode before, although it's something that's still, look, it's the fact that she calculated exactly how long it would take for him to get back if she sent him to 3 different locations.
That's a good point.
Like she's intelligent, man. Like,
woman, man.
Yeah. The only thing is,
but the fact that she went, and I love the whole, you know what it is, it's the realness of the reactions, because I guess if you're watching something like this happening in Marvel or something like that, first thing they're going to do is run out to try and get to S.H.I.E.L.D. straight away or something, and then probably get stopped on the way there. But instead she was like, no, don't say that to no, because it's still her husband. And there's still that. But then but then when she gets home, you can see that she's just not lying to herself anymore, man. Like when you just back in the wine like that.
And I think she wants to know why, man.
Of course she wants to know why. Everyone wants to. Actually, that was a good segue. I want to talk about Cecil in a minute. But of course she wants to know why. But at the same time, she's hurt, man, because it's also like, what justification? Your instances are all coming together. If it was really that innocent, you probably would have told her by now. Like, what justification do you have for murder? Remember, she was friends with Red Rush's girl, man.
The Russian.
I mean, you like all of them, man. The way the camera stopped on that "I fucked up" bit when it's on his face, bro. Like, that got me, man. I was like, yeah, bro.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's that whole line, you believed in the good, but I fucked up, man. She. Right song.
And that's another thing I'll say throughout the whole thing that I keep forgetting to mention about the whole series and so far is that the music is dope, man. The soundtrack is very good.
Is on point. He's on the buttons, man.
Yeah, throughout the whole thing, man. That's one of. Hold tight, stepping down music.
Honestly, man, he's on the buttons, man. What do you have any more thoughts on that particular arc? Like,
I think I don't know.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm really thinking he's torn. He's torn within himself, and I do think he's thinking, how do I? Firstly, I think he might be quite confident that his wife is not going to say anything for now. But then he needs to think of a good enough explanation as to why he would do such a thing.
I'm not sure if he actually, I think he knows he can't, personally, and I'm not sure he actually, I think he probably knew this was inevitable, right?
Yeah. Especially keeping the suit there. His wife is
not a threat to him.
No.
But at the same time, although he probably now has to be forced to accept he can't, he was maybe hoping to figure out a way that he can make his wife understand what he did and maybe somehow do whatever he's trying to do, but at the same time, keep that life. Because I think he genuinely loves his family.
Yeah, I think he does.
At the same time, he's got shit to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Boy.
I also feel like what's interesting is Cecil's role in parts of this. Where I feel like he's almost using Mark as an experiment for maybe how to take. Although Mark is half human, half Ultramite, I feel like he's using Mark and analyzing Mark and saying, okay, maybe if we need to take down Omni-Man, we are learning through Mark how we would have to take him down. Of course, it'd be like
100%. I mean, you've seen scenes, pretty much, and at least one scene from every scene he's been in for since this happened. You've seen him make some sort of comment about how to take him out or what to do about it. You know, you've got them researching in the lab how to harm him. Remember, they showed that in the last episode. You've got him saying, like, let's send Mark up there. They're testing, but by yet, like, as you just said, by seeing what Mark's limits are, you get a better indication of what Omni-Man's limits might be. And it's probably not the first time he's done this. To some degree, he probably would do that. You know, organizations like that, he's probably done that for all the heroes. Maybe his main contingency plan against Omni-Man before, though, was
the other Guardians
of the Globe. Like, worst case, Omni-Man goes crazy, I'll tell the Guardians of the Globe to take him out. And it's like, now there's no Guardians of the Globe. It's like, shit. And probably vice versa to some extent, but now it's like, shit. And I actually think it's very smart what he's doing, because, again, maybe in other series, the organizations would have just tried to arrest him. But he's being like, but let's not be stupid now. Let's not turn Superman against the world overnight. But like, we will arrest him once we know we can take him out. But if we try now and he flips out, he could destroy the whole planet and there's nothing we can do. So so they need to work out what is weak. They need to now just go to overtime to work out his weaknesses. And you know, like, they're taking that boy. I think they're gonna get him to build something for him. Because he was like, remember the boy, the evil scientist boy. Remember at the end they arrest him, but remember he comments like, well, it was actually quite impressive what he built, and it gave you a lot of trouble, right? And he built it from scraps in the sewer. So it's like, hold on a minute, like, if we bring him to the lab and give him top-notch equipment and whatever, what can he
create an army of super soldiers?
I don't think he wants that. I think he just wants something to take out Omni-Man. But I can see him getting them to make someone into something that can defeat Omni-Man.
Or make a few of them. That's what I mean. Like, imagine like a few of those.
It's definitely. I think I'm not sure if I'm not sure if he'll start with the army. I can see him just being like, look, make 1 to 5, just enough to take out Omni-Man. Done.
And the twins who are like creating like a clone or an embryo. In that maybe there's some combination there. Maybe that technology is going to be added onto this embryo once it's fully grown.
Well, the twins, remember, Cecil doesn't know where the twins are, what they're doing. That's just all the robot, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Hold on, I'm just going to turn on my light.
Cecil's not involved in that, man. That's all the robot.
Do you think so? I feel like he is, man. I feel like Cecil's actually a little bit omniscient in terms of, I don't know, like having some sort of say in what's going on.
He's definitely the type of character that he'll eventually figure it out, and I'm sure he's got teams looking for the Mauler twins, but Omni-Man is his #1 priority right now. And the Mauler twins, from what you've seen from them, as smart as they are, they don't seem to be, for one, they're beatable, and for two, they don't seem to be doing something too crazy. They're probably going to try and rob a bank or something. Like you saw in the beginning about how this is a very sensible thinking universe. Like, from episode 1 when they were attacking the White House and someone comments like, look, man, the White House gets attacked so many times, I doubt the president even still lives there. And it actually makes sense. And in the real world, that would be the case. There were supervillains who regularly attack the White House. President ain't living there. He'll pretend he lives there. It's just like with the Greys when they buried the original Guardians of the Globe. And then at the end of this episode, you see them, you see them boys trying to dig up the Immortal's grave where they think it is, but that's not actually where it is, because it is. So it's a very, and that's why I like this universe. It's a very practical universe.
It's realistic.
Thinks about what they did. And the Mauler twins, I thought when the Mauler twins went, so that, you know, they're doing something for the robot. You don't quite know what it is, making some sort of clone. When they went to get the boys, I would have thought they were going to try and get someone to close to the girl, in fact, close to robot, maybe even Monster Girl. I didn't really think they would just kidnap random civilians to use as leverage against robot. Yeah, I'm not even entirely sure how much robot would care.
Yeah, he's like irrelevant.
I'm not sure how good he is. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, because I wonder what's robot planning. There's a few things that's going through my mind. I feel like, is this embryo that they're creating, is he planning to somehow transfer his consciousness into this body so he can be a human or have like feelings or something, and then start moving to Monster Girl?
Why do you think he would do that?
To start moving to Monster Girl? I don't know.
You probably guessed it. You probably guessed it, because obviously whatever he's doing is going to be related to Monster Girl. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you either way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But again, going back to what I said at the start of this recording about how it's these little things that, although I remember this plotline a bit more because it's more regularly, but when it's not there, I forget about it. Because it's just so many, he flashes on to, and then he comes back and like, oh yeah, robot's trying to do something with them all.
Yeah.
Completely forgot. There's so many little things that just happen.
Which I kind of like that, because I mean, it kind of it all fits together still. And although they're different parts, with each development of the little scenes, you see some sort of movement towards a kind of cohesive story, I guess.
For me, what would stop it being a 10 out of 10 is probably one of this and a couple other things. Because for me, you could have shorter episodes and just dedicate them to one or two storylines, and they'd be great. Because remember, these are what, 45-minute long epepisodes, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why it couldn't be 25 when you just do the story of the robot and maybe the Omni-Man wife thing, and then you leave you leave the Mark Grayson college thing for a whole nother episode, so I can just concentrate.
I wouldn't like that. I know that's probably, you would probably not mind that, because especially because you're used to anime probably being more like that, where they're shorter episodes and things can maybe not be addressed for a whole episode. Whereas I like the fact that they're longer episodes, so that you get a dose of all the different storylines addressed, and then you get, again, instead of like, sometimes, like for instance, there's times where you prefer one storyline and you only really care about one or two of the storylines. And then, but if you get an episode where none of the storylines that you care about are featured in the episode, that can be frustrating, especially when you're
But the main storylines often will be. I do get what you're saying, and yeah, you know, it's one of those subjective things. And I like the show. I like the episode format, and I like the length to a degree. I just think that I just worry that certain subplots and things just aren't landing because it's just so much information. Like for me, I was halfway through the episode before I started piecing together. Oh yeah, that boy that got kidnapped in the beginning. Oh yeah, I saw the wanted poster. Oh yeah, the scientist guy. He must be. Like I was halfway through the episode before that stuff started clicking, because again, there's so many throwaway scenes. Like for example, that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you actually saw that fake astronaut at least once more again somewhere in this episode, that for like 10 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
In the most recent episode, this episode just gone.
I can't remember if it was in this episode or the episode before. Maybe I imagined it, but I could just, there's a lot going on. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
That's what you have. I mean, let's try and count the different plot threads in the one episode. You got Omni-Man and his wife.
Yeah.
The evil scientist, the gay relationship, the relationship of Mark and the black girl.
Yeah.
We ain't even spoken about Adam Eve's stuff.
Parents and that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm on 5 already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has a lot
and
to
the
go
robot
and the robot and the Mauler twins.
Robot, Mauler twins, robot, and Monster Girl.
Monster Girl, exactly. It's like,
and the black guy as well. The black guy somehow got his powers back
or something. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to remember in 45 minutes, bro. I think maybe I'm bothered because I'm the type of person who wants to remember it all. Like I don't want to forget anything. So I'm even a little annoyed in myself when I'm like, I forgot about that scene.
Yeah.
30 minutes ago. I want to remember it all, but it's so much. My mind can't keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's segue into the Atom story. Like, I'm really enjoying that. For me, that could be its own show. I would actually enjoy a mini series of her and the challenges she faces and what she's trying to do. It's really adult, man. Considering she's a 17-year-old character, it's like it's extremely adult what she's doing.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Her power is the most helpful power. The fact that she can literally restructure molecules and like what she's doing, literally she could solve hunger, world hunger problems.
You would think she could do something to actually affect Omni-Man and Invincible, man. You would think when you can start doing stuff on a molecular level, doors open up, man. If there's a way to hurt them, she can probably do something to make it happen, because you can see they bleed.
So, exactly, yeah.
They're not they can be hurt. Yeah, and I was saying to you earlier about I was a little bit more sympathetic for the dad in this episode. He's still, the parents as a whole are still shocking, especially the dad. You know, that statement about the infidelity was crazy.
Yeah, just forgive him.
For a dad to just come say to his daughter. However, I felt like he explained himself more here. Although I'd almost be curious as to be like, what's happened in your life, or what was your dad like to you? Because are you aware it's 2021? Did anyone tell you? Like, he sounds like he's in the 50s, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. Should she even work? Housewife? Should she just be cleaning shelves and saying yes husband, no husband, like kind of? What the hell?
Can only use her powers on weekends or something.
Only use her powers to help with the housework. Like, a bit more efficient. Now you can get me a beer and cook dinner at the same time. Like that's what your powers are for.
Or you could just magic up a beer.
But again, I understood where it's come from a little bit, because even though it's wrong and he's enforcing his beliefs on his daughter, he does love his daughter. It was coming from I think I know what's best and you will be happiest if you live like this and do this, whatever. He has no right to say that, but at least he's not saying it because he's just a bully, or he actually hates her and wants her to suffer or whatever. He actually wants to live a happy life, but doesn't understand that he should allow his daughter to live her life how she wants to live it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a very, very small bit of redemption. I still overall don't like him, but like, I was a little bit more like understanding.
Yeah, and I suppose you see it as almost desperation. He's saying whatever he can to try and stop her from going. Like,
because he truly believes that what he's doing is right. He truly believes that. It's like, mate, you.
So he may even be saying some things that he doesn't fully mean, but if he thinks it will get through to her, like,
it's probably like, you know, if he had his own show, you'd probably see like his parents who probably were born, you know, back in the day, 50s, whatever, whatever kind of times. His parents his dad was probably just like him, maybe even worse. So like, perhaps that's it's just clearly influenced him to be who he is, because and his wife has clearly accepted it. I think, so.
Well, she's probably been like kind of subjugated with that kind of treatment to the point where she just feels that it's like him or nothing, like as in his rule or nothing.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was cool, that montage of her flying around helping people, and
even the way she built her house, man. Like her treehouse.
He's a cool character, man. And and I think Mark needs to take advice. As much as we like the black guy, it's just complicated dating these non-suits, man. I wouldn't mind this series ending like Mark just says, you know, Omni-Man, you do your thing, and him and Atom Eve just fly off and live happily ever after. You know, helping people in Africa, man. It's not every day fight Omni-Man and die, man. Look at him, bro. The Taylor had it right, bro. You see what I'm saying? I even respected the Taylor. There's something. Don't tell anyone.
Yo.
And then that threatening drink they had on the roof, I said, oh,
yeah. And I like Omni-Man is reasonable, because a slightly unreasonable Omni-Man would have taken a beer bottle and put it down his throat and dispose of the body in space or something. Like,
I mean, there's an element of risk to him for that as well. But I think he respects the history, and I think that adds to what I was saying earlier about he has had a life here, and he does actually like these people. However, he's got something to do, and if they're gonna get in his way, he's gonna do what he has to do. But I think he was listening secretly, so I think he could probably know if the guy was lying.
Do you think has he got super hearing?
Yeah, he was listening. He heard the whole thing. Of course, he was hearing.
I didn't know. So I didn't know how super his hearing was. Like,
he definitely heard all of that. But that's why he went down there, just to reaffirm, like, you made the right decision, bro. Because if you don't suddenly get the courage to call someone, because you know what I mean, you got to look after your tailor.
Yeah. No, for real, man. Like, who else is gonna do it? It's a bit like if it was his barber as well. He'd keep his barber alive. And there's no way you don't kill your barber. How can you kill? You cannot kill your barber.
Believe in your barber, man. You have to believe in him.
Yeah.
But Cecil's walking a very fine line. I love their little interactions. Like, the question is, what? Yeah, darker than blood. No, he didn't say anything. The question is, why would he do it?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're walking a fine line, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But which is why I like Cecil, because it's like he understands the dynamic. He understands that, like, Omni-Man needs to maintain some sort of, I don't know, diplomacy, at least until he acts out whatever he's planning to act out.
Like I said earlier, man, if he lets it loose, I know you did it, and I'm going to call the president right now. The whole organization probably get killed then and then. It wouldn't surprise me though if secretly, those camouflage agents are actually pointing guns at him all the time.
Yeah,
like, who Omni-Man? Fingers. Yeah, Cecil will probably click his fingers, and then all of them will just appear like that. I'm sure he's wary of that, man. I wonder if next episode Mark's gonna find out what his dad did, man. That's what I'm really curious about that.
Do you think so soon? Do you think so? Well, he's gonna see something's wrong.
I mean, the Mark's gonna find out sooner or later. I'm sure the dad would probably look to tell him on his own terms, but maybe it's gonna be spread up. Maybe the dad, the mum was gonna say something to him. I don't know, but it'd be curious. I'm curious to see how's he gonna react when he finds out, because again, he probably idolizes his dad more than anyone else. Because not only is he your favorite superhero, like, a lot of kids see their dads as a superhero. Your dad literally is a superhero. Like, so it's gonna crush his world, man. When
the thing is, but the one thing I read, like, actually a few days ago, is that I didn't know that the Viltrumite DNA, even if you're technically half human, if you're Viltrumite, the Viltrumite DNA actually surpasses and overcomes everything. So you actually have the full abilities of a Viltrumite.
Yeah, he's basically Viltrumite. Yeah, that's correct.
Because I was looking, thinking, so is he half as strong as a true Viltrumite? But no, like, as in Mark, but actually Mark will, as he grows older, and gets stronger.
Since you got that far, I said, they do get stronger as they age.
Yeah.
And because his dad is so much older than him, by default, he's stronger. And again, as we've said multiple times today, man, it's not just the strength, it's the experience.
Yeah.
You can't, even if he had the exact same amount of powers on him, man, now you can't touch him on experience. So
exactly.
But yeah, the Viltrumite. But also, if you remember in Dragon Ball Z, hybrids are said to be stronger than full-blooded. Are said to have more potential, because of Gohan, up until he stopped training and became a teacher and all that stuff, was stronger than Goku and Vegeta at one stage. And had he kept at it, would still be probably.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just look forward to watching it every week, man. Like, it's even to the point where sometimes I think, God, sometimes I wouldn't mind pushing when I watched it back so that it's closer to when the next episode comes out.
I know what you mean. But I actually enjoy the Friday/Saturday viewing of, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier and Invincible. I kind of enjoy it. Anyway,
Yeah.
what do you want to give this episode now?
I'll give it like it's a between 8 and 9. Like I'd give it a high 8. I give it a high 8. Like it was good, man. I was peeled, even, and like I always say, like even the bits that are a bit cliche, I still, because of the whole thing of it, they don't sugarcoat it and pretend it's not cliche. Like the whole thing with the gay guy's boyfriend, when he's like, he kind of comes to when they're like, when he's holding Mark while the other two like hybrids beat him up.
Even the reveal when you was trying to get through to him, we had sex.
Sex,
Man,
yeah.
it was the bit. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And the way the guy had been playing it the whole episode, I thought the crush was kind of one-sided. It's like, oh, crap. So
they've been bumping uglies, man.
They had summer camp, man. Summer camp.
Yeah. Oh,
but I fucked up.
I think I'd also give it. I think I'm gonna give it a 9. The emotion got through to me. Again, I felt for an animated show to make me connect with characters and feel human emotion like that.
Yeah,
I gotta respect it, man.
yeah.
I believe in